Okay. I think, and I could be significantly less clever than I believe, but I think I have found a time when I can continue this adventure. Um, Now, typically, I'm trying to remember what. That's right. Near chased me all the way out here. Okay, so we finished everything. Typically on a Sunday morning at this time, I would be with a small group, kind of going over the the verses that are going to be used as the foundation for today's sermon. There's a group at our church that reads the verses and discusses their thoughts on them. So that'd be what I'd be doing ideally on a Sunday morning before the service starts. But I decided that I would try to squeeze in maybe 45 minutes to an hour of this adventure instead. Now, I know most of the people who are going to ever see this are going to immediately think that's a much, much worse use of your time. And yeah, I mean, I get it. I agree. This is probably not the better use of my time. But I've been having just a ton of fun doing this, and I want to keep doing it. And I don't know. I worry that if I just go silent until September or sometime in August, that I might just flat out lose any motivation to continue. Like, this would not be the first time that has happened. So I I want to make some effort to keep myself focused on doing this. So here it is, and I may or may not stick with it. We'll see. All right. Well, for me, this is the way that I deal with this upper deck bridge here that has all the traps. You don't want to trip any of the traps because then it turns on the fire and it's just kind of obnoxious. So I just jump over all the pressure plates and then I misty step into this room so I can flip the lever, which disables everything. Normally you'd want to pick up the Idol of Shar at this point so that you could give it to Shadowheart. That is if you are trying to build a relationship with Shadowheart, if that's part of your playthrough. Giving her the idol as a gift is a good thing to do. It'll make her happy. She's programmed to be happy about that. Let me see. Where's my strength at with these characters? Oh, we're at 21 right now. Okay, so this lever will make the platform slide across. I don't think we need that. I could be wrong. Oh, I am wrong. Can't quite make that jump. So the way I normally do it is I take the highest strength character in my group and I separate them out and I flip the lever, which slides that platform across. And then I guess because this is higher and this is lower, if you're, I think, even a 17 strength, you can easily make that jump. So that's the way I would normally do that. And I guess both of these sides are higher, so you do have to slide that platform across in order to make it. So I can't even, like, it's just been days, really, and I can't remember anything. I can't remember who does the lock picking. I'm having trouble remembering where I am in the story. All right, so we've got a few things to do here. We're going to fight some Maragons. That's what we do up here. This is a big moment, I think, for dual-wielding hand crossbow character, because you finally get the Fire Stoker, which is a significant damage upgrade for that build. That's when the build really starts to take off. It's a perfectly... what do I want to say? It's a balanced build. It does just as much damage as just about anything else in the game before you start getting build-specific items, but once you get the Fire Stoker and then the Nair Misser and then the Hellfire Hand Cannon, it really takes off from there. I think one of the biggest benefits of that build, which is not a build I'm playing right now, so I should probably spend this time talking about it, but the force damage really makes a difference in the game. Okay, the other thing that we found up there is the Protecty Sparks Wall, which is a cloth piece of armor. If you have an item that gives you lightning charges, like the Spell Sparkler or the Sparkly Points that I used to have, and you're a cloth wearer, is whenever you have lightning charges, you end up getting 1 additional armor. And the other thing that this armor does, probably a lot more important than the +1 to armor class, is you get... Oh no, that's just spell save. +1 bonus to spell save. I thought it was +1 to spell attack rolls. So, false alarm, not as good as I thought. Still, pretty decent piece of armor overall. And if all you're wearing is like the Robe of Summer or something like that, I think it's a really nice upgrade at this point in the game. All right, these guys are kind of tough, which is to say, there's no real danger of losing here, as I recall, but there is a danger of taking just a lot of damage. So I want to avoid that if possible. If they get close to you and they hit you, or even when you loot their corpses, they will light you on fire, which is pretty inconvenient. It's not too bad. Let's get Karlach in the mix. I'm going to go ahead and presume we're not going to need to rage for this one. It might be a bad presumption. She might still take some fair amount of damage from this guy. But yeah, let's give him a kick. Yeah, he's hurting now. So I'll just get her kind of out of the way. Hopefully he'll go for Furin instead. He did not. 7 damage. That's not too bad. She gets Wrath off of that, but it's not going to matter because the fight's going to be over. Just like that. Now, typically there's nothing on the Hellsborers, but on the Maragon Legionnaire, you get your next Devil Foil Mask. And this is the Fire Stoker. Now, the damage buff on this Fire Stoker is really about dealing fire damage. So, for a couple levels, if you're using it, you're going to be kind of tied to throwing out like a fire arrow or something as your first shot. Alright, so I found all of the Devil Foil masks. I think, unless I am just mistaken, which that happens a lot, I think there are only 4 of them. And for the Adamantine Forge, I'm only going to make the shield and the armor. I'm not going to make anything else. There isn't like an Adamantine spear or anything. Let's see, did we already do... No, that's not it. Did we already do the Susur? No, okay. You can make a Susur weapon, which for an Eldritch Knight, since he binds to the weapon, it really doesn't matter what weapon you're throwing. Although I will say, I believe in the game's mechanics, the weapon has to be listed as thrown to get the throwing bonuses. I think it just does more damage on hit if it is a weapon that is supposed to be thrown as opposed to a weapon that's not supposed to be thrown. That's really something I should probably look into more specifically. I don't want the scimitar, so I'm not going to worry about that. Alright, so there's another set of levers here that operate this platform. And you can bring your whole party up here and hop on this platform and carry them over here, which then they can jump down. Which is great. Like, there's nothing wrong with doing that. I just find that if you have a character with any amount of strength, you can just use Featherfall and easily jump across. The Splint Mold is the other one that I want. I just think this is a much easier way to accomplish it, right? So instead of goofing around with splitting my party and doing a bunch of jumps, I'm just going to discover the waypoint, regroup, and then go to the waypoint, and that will teleport everybody there. Kind of like going through the door in the arcane tower. Same mechanic that we're abusing. Alright, there's a few things, you know, like chests and stuff. Sometimes this will get you good items. Sometimes it will get you a load of nothing. There is some randomness to the items that show up. So, that was alright. Nothing special, but not terrible either. And then we're going to have to fight some animated armor. You can skip fighting the animated armor, but you have to also skip getting excuse me, getting the mithril. Which is also okay. Like, if you don't care about the mithril items, it's fine to skip the mithril. I just haven't had that. Like, I've always had a use for the mithril items in my party. You know, these guys have super high armor, but that is one of the benefits of the throwing build, is that high armor just doesn't seem to matter all that much. How much rage do I have? I'll probably take a long rest before I do that, so yeah, we'll go ahead and rage. We'll rage instead of jumping. Now, this is awkward because I want to throw things at these guys, but I don't think that there's a place I could stand that's going to let me do that. Maybe this guy. So I'm just going to run up pretty much as far as I can. Want to remember to put my free elemental cleaver buff on. Changes my damage to thunder and increases my damage. And yeah, I can't. Oh, I can hit this guy. We'll do that. That was a miss. Probably because I'm lower. 70% chance to hit. Alright. And then they're going to come in and beat on me a little bit. No, she doesn't have much for armor, so she's probably always going to get hit. That's where rage comes in super handy. It just cuts everything in half, which is beautiful. So let's get rid of this guy. And we'll get rid of this guy. Well, we won't, but we'll do some damage to this guy. There we go. Give you the boot.
That's it.
Look at that, 22 damage. And we'll hit you a couple times. No bonus action. Okay, we'll hit you once. So they're going to get another round to beat on me. Bop. And miss. Ow. Ow. Okay. Alright, well, I'm going to lose my 21 strength for the final boss fight. I think that's mostly okay. I think the fire resist is more important. Okay, and then there's really nothing to loot on the animated armor. Ooh, look at that. She got the 15. Interesting. Only for a second, though. I don't know. That's weird. Let's see. Where are we at? We're out of short rests. We have another long rest coming in. I could do it first. These just don't seem to be benefiting me at all. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say they're pointless, and I'm just going to 1 armor. That's all that does for me. It's not a big deal. It's a little something. I mean, if she can not get hit, that's great. I think I'm going to long rest before the next actual fight. So I'm just going to leave. I'm going to leave her where she's at. I got to lose these elixirs anyway, so I think there's no reason not to long rest. I'll probably want to do a short rest after the fight, because I will take enough damage that will be needed. Nope, that's a jump. Alright, so we want to bop this. It's immune to slashing damage. Okay. No worries. What I can do is just take that off. Oops. And just punch it. I have a mighty punch. And then we'll just pop it back on. Okay, so that's for the mithril ore. I'll let Karlach carry the mithril ore. And then there's a treasure chest here. Where's my shovel? Right here. Why can't I start digging? Something ain't right. What am I missing? Well, that's weird. I don't want to just sit here puzzling at whatever weird glitchiness is going on with the game. For some reason, I can't dig. I don't know why. Nothing is coming to mind. Doesn't make any sense. No reason that I could think of that I wouldn't be able to dig. So, see if Karlach can dig for some reason, even though Furin can't. Yep, she sure can. So I don't know why Furin can't dig all of a sudden. That's weird. But, whatever. There's a treasure chest here. It usually has some nice stuff in it. Some ingredients. Nothing, like, it's going to blow your mind, I guess, but it's fine. And then we'll pop this back over and put it back in his bag. He can dig again. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. I am at a loss. That was weird. Let's chalk it up to a weird glitch. You know, maybe there's something I just wasn't seeing. That was a reasonable explanation for why he couldn't dig. I don't know. Alright, so I have decided that what I'm going to do about the Grymforge situation, because Grym can really just wreck you, is I'm going to try to do it from above. Which makes it like a really slow, tedious fight. So if that's the case, I might drop a save in the middle of the fight and just come back to it, you know, like next week or whenever. Well, we'll try to do what we can. The thing with Grym is that he is not always vulnerable to damage. So sometimes you cannot damage him at all. And that's what makes it difficult to do the fight from, like, above. Alright, I gotta remember to find my weapon. Remember what buffs each of the... Like, there is a nice thing about running this party composition. There just aren't any buffs. These guys don't do buffs. It's not a thing. So just makes it easier to not have to think about buffing people up. Now, I would like to, the next time I get a spell on this Eldritch Knight, get Long Strider in the mix. I think that's a great buff. It's a very important buff to have.
How much farther can I go?
Alright, both of these guys are ranged, but I'm not going to try to like do this as a ranged fight. I'm not going to try to avoid these imps. My damage mitigation is going to be this fire resistance. I think Karlach is probably going to have to rage. Maybe not, because I think the imps just try to do fire damage. Like I don't think they ever like take a swing at you or anything. So
Maybe I should. No, this is good.
save the Luck of the Far Realms for Grim. Think that'll be good. Let me see, that was my 2 attacks, so I'm going to go ahead and action surge. 3. And 4. Who's okay, so I don't need to worry about attacking that guy. I just wouldn't want to waste this 5th attack. Although that brings up a good question. Do I have any spell scrolls that would hit like a lot of enemies? No. Not at this point in the game. I'm just going to do one more attack. I'm going to take out this guy. He's pretty close. There. Now we've only got 4 to deal with. That's probably better. So I'm not going to rage with Karlach because I don't think it would actually reduce. Okay, I like that. I don't think it would actually reduce any of the damage she's going to end up taking. There's 6 damage. Oh, I guess they do, claws. Oh, she's still surprised. See, that's alert working to my advantage. I would have had to do a full round without being able to damage them at all if I didn't have alert. And because I had alert, I was able to take out, what, 5 of them? So there's the haste potion coming in handy as well. And then Karlach, give him the boot. No? Boot wasn't enough? Okay, well, that'll be enough. Alright, so this fight can kill you. That's why I did the fire resist. The fire resist will keep you alive. I still took a little bit of damage. Not nearly as much as you would, but I did take a little. What is this? Oh, Wrath. Yeah. Wrath is nice. I think it just adds a flat amount. +1 bonus to damage. Yeah. So basically, if somebody hits Karlach, which I would say probably every enemy is going to try to hit Karlach, because she has much lower armor than Furin. So this is how we're going to play the AI, or I guess AI is probably the wrong word. We're going to play the computer against itself. It's going to prefer to attack the lower armor party member. So that's how we're going to get it to always attack Karlach instead of Furin. And the computer's not wrong to do that. Obviously, it's going to land a lot more hits on Karlach than it will on Furin. So, in that sense, it would be better for me if the computer were trying to hit Furin. But looking at it from the perspective of it's going to land a hit, because it will. The way that they designed the game It really doesn't matter how much armor your character has. You're going to get hit. You know, it's guaranteed that it's going to happen. I've had over 50 armor and still gotten hit, so it is what it is. Alright, so staying up here. What are you doing, Karlak? She took a damage for no reason. She's gonna stay right there, I think. So, I'll just pass all this over. It's fine. Whoops. Don't have him selected. We got a little tiny stealth mission to do over here. You don't have to do this a lot of times. Like on my Beckley, my other honor mode run, I just skipped it. There's an amulet over here that is part of a quest. By the time you do this quest, by the time you complete this quest, you really don't need the experience anymore. So, I mean, it's kind of a shrug. You could do it, you could not do it. Oops. Well, there is a sleet storm in there. You have to succeed on this saving throw. Otherwise, it gets real awkward. I succeeded, so that's grand. So the only reason you would really feel like you need to do this is if you are using a monk. It's a pretty great monk amulet. It restores ki. I don't know how much ki, I can't remember. There's like an epic or legendary version of it that you can create by completing the quest. There's no reason to fight the fire elemental. I have fought it and beaten it, but it's actually pretty difficult to do that because the fire elemental heals whenever it's touching fire, which it always is. It's always touching fire, so let's start with the shield. We definitely want to keep this Sleet Storm. Sleet Storm is very important for certain parts of the game. Oh, look at this. You can actually see it restores 2 ki points, which is just, it's just kind of nice. Especially on a monk. Like, monks burn through ki points like nobody's business. Which is very problematic early game and very silly late game. And I'm given to understand that if you play a monk like to level 20, you know, by the time you're at like level 13 or whatever, you have so many ki points that it's just stupid. Alright, so we have a problem here. The things we need to hit are too far away to hit standing here. So I'm just gonna be curious and see if maybe this is better. There we go. I could hit that. That'll send this thing down. Which kind of puts a bunch of stuff in my way, right? So we're gonna go ahead and run the lava. We're expert archers. We could spin a wheel. Okay, he's melting, so we have a chance to deal damage to him. But we are also not in combat. Okay. How do we get in combat? We're gonna have to shoot him. Yeah, you, stand there. Thank you. Jeepers. Alright, so the idea here is we just chuck stuff at him until he dies. Let's see. Adamantine reverberation. What does that do? temporary hit points. Movement speed is doubled. And it knocks foes back. Okay, well, you know, I'm not super worried about it. I'll tell you why. Because I'm standing up here. That's why. Okay, that was it for you. Alright, can you throw things at him? You can. Alright, so throw things at him. Yeah, use the luck. Sure. Critical hit. Boom. Alright, so the challenge here is we want to keep him in the lava. If he steps out of the lava, then we can no longer do damage to him. And then this becomes a huge pain. Now, I also don't know if they, like, have added mechanics to this. Yeah, it's possible in Heroic you're just not allowed to do this. Maybe he has, like, a grappling hook or something. He's just going to yank me down there and murder me. That could be devastating. He's awake. Okay, so now he's standing up on the metal platform. He's going to lose superheated. And that's going to be terrible for me. Because I won't be able to do damage to him anymore. But, you know, it is what it is. So, yeah, sure, let's burn a haste potion. It's only one more attack. That's fair. And it's also an attack that I'm going to miss. So, that's not great. If I rage, I do more damage. I do more damage if I rage. So, alright, so he's vulnerable to bludgeoning damage. Thunder, acid, cold, and force are the only damages that can actually hurt him. Thunder, acid, or cold. I'm going to go with thunder. Alright.
Good idea, Karlach.
Thunder damage. Karlach is the enemy now. So now you see I'm just not hurting him that much. 9 damage. That's not huge. And he's awakened now. Okay. Well, good. He's gonna attack the imps. That works in our favor. So because he's gonna attack the imps, I get a few more rounds where he's superheated, and I get the opportunity to hit him. Maybe not a few more. Maybe just this one round, because he's going to explode, and that's going to kill a whole bunch of the imps. Let's see. He's not quite half gone yet. Oh, and there's extra imps, though. That's good. I like that there's extra imps. Why? Go for the big thing. Yeah, why are you going for me? Don't go for me. Go for the big baddie. You silly imp. Okay, well, that's a bummer. I'll have to deal with them. They really want to get me to drop my weapon. I have bad news for these imps, though. Dropping my weapon is not gonna affect me in any way. I don't have to use an action to re-equip it. That's not how this works. Yet another reason why this throwing build is ludicrously overpowered by Baldur's Gate standards. Just, you know, it's not the best thing ever, but it might be the best thing ever in the game. It might be. Hard to say. Yeah, hit the golem. Yeah, see, look, your friend just got wrecked by the golem. Go help. Goodness. Can I just get rid of you? Yeah, good. Yeah, go back down there. Fight the golem. Don't fight me.
All right then.
Okay, we got him halfway. Halfway we've got him. Doing a whole 10 damage per hit. It's not a lot. But we got him halfway, and that's amazing. he's just standing in the lava. That's what we want. We want him to spend his life in the lava. Got almost 200 damage still to get through. We killed a imp. Not ideal, but we'll make it work. 26 damage. I love that. Let's get more of that. Well, 14 damage. It's something. 10 damage. Oof. Okay. Imps are gone. Haste wore out. Oh, wait. There's one more imp. Haste is about to wear out on Karlach.
Handy.
Do I haste again? I don't know. See, it might be that he's just going to walk back up on the platform, so we might just... Might be a few rounds before we're able to do anything, right? So... Alright, we got him down to 82 health. While we could. 82 while we could. And... yeah, I think that's going to count as him being on the platform.
First step is the hardest.
Not too shabby. Yeah, we'll go again. It's pretty costly, but I think worthwhile. 41. This might be the last round. Like, Superheated might drop off with him having 32 health, which would be a huge bummer. But we got him to 30. Oh, she didn't deal damage because she got Hasten ward off. Hasten ward off. Hasten wore off. Woo! So she lost rage. I'm not gonna bother to rage again because I don't need to. Look at that. We did it. The other thing that we needed to do while there was lava. Okay. Off again. That's okay. We could do it from up here. It's not that big of a deal. Bop. Get the lava back.
I've got a long road ahead.
Okay, we haven't actually made our shield yet because normally you would use this hammer to take out Grym. We didn't because we're afraid of Grym. Grym's gonna beat us up. You do the hammer once and it makes the item. So now I need this platform to come back up. So I'm gonna shoot this button and have it come back up. Hopefully. No. It did a little something. Come on. Back up. Alright, well, no big deal. Platform doesn't want to come back up because there's nobody on it, right? So I'm just going to use Featherfall, and down we go. We'll go ahead and loot. You get this. This provides fire immunity, no, fire resistance, critical hit immunity, and Hunter's Mark. I'm not going to use it this run, I believe. Mostly because the Warped Headband of Intellect is just... has more utility to it for Furin. He doesn't particularly need the intelligence, although that does affect his spells. But it does help with any of his saving throws or skill checks. So we'll take this shield mold back, and then we're going to reload this with, not the shield mold, with the splint mold. And this is better than the Absolute's Warboard by a lot, so we'll do that. That's fine. We're going to put the other piece of mithril in. You can only get 2 pieces of mithril, and the game is really programmed to only allow you to make 2 mithril items. I'm not going to use that, but I'm not going to sell it either, so I'm just gonna send it back to camp. So we need the lava to come back, which is going to cause that to go down. And then we will activate the hammer again, which will make the adamantine armor, which is 18, so 3 more armor for Furin. And then if we shoot the button, oh, well, it all went away anyhow. The button will make the lava go away as well, if you need it. I'm not going to bother to recover the mold. The mold only sells for 1 gold, so it's not really worth it. Let's see if we can get this thing to raise up now. We can. So we'll ride back up. We survived Grim. It took way less time than I thought it would. We decimated him. And with ease, no less. But we did kind of cheese the fight. So there's that. We did not face Grim mano a mano. We hid out of his reach and threw things at him. And that did him in. But, you know, take your wins how you can get them, right? Let's see here. So that is Grymforge. Now we're not quite complete because we have some things to turn in. We're gonna pop back over to the Myconid colony and turn in with Sovereign Spore.
Something's on my mind.
Because we did not betray him in this run. We killed Glut. You're welcome. I am a peace bringer. I kill people to bring you peace. Yep. And I'm a life chanter too. A lot of good titles there. A lot of weird titles, but hey, we'll take what we can get. So let's see. We have the adamantine splint armor. We have the disintegrating Nightwalkers. We have the Ring of Absolute Force, which adds 1 thunder damage. Anytime we deal thunder damage, right? 1 additional thunder damage with thunder damage. So that's another reason why when we do Elemental Cleaver, we would want to select thunder. I kind of forgot about that. So we turned in that quest, and then I ran over here to this vendor guy.
Welcome back.
Yeah, we'll sell everything off that we can. You have money, right? Sure. He has money. We don't need that. We have 59 items that we don't need. How much of this can you actually afford? Well, you can definitely afford all of that. How about this? Yeah, you can afford all of that too. Do you have anything that we didn't get but would want? That for sure. Another 300 gold. Well, I think you could probably afford everything. He could have afforded everything straight up. Take that. I'll take that. That's probably good. So, 987 extra gold for me. A lighter burden. Another scroll of what is this called? Dimension Door. Dimension Door, very useful. Big deal. And now we need to go back to the Blighted Village to make our Sucer weapon. Oh yeah, I think I was talking about that. So the Sucer weapon. And we are coming to the end here. To the end of my time. The Sucer weapon has a silence mechanic on it. Whatever version you do, whether it be... I just goofed up. Well, let's see if there's anything down here. I can't remember because I'm doing 3 runs at once. Just kind of... it could be a dagger. It could be a short sword, I think. Or it could be a great sword. I mean, it'll remind us in a second when we click on it. I'm going to do dagger. I always do dagger. All 3 of them are nice-ish. but with caveats. So the mechanic with Susur... Oh, it can be a sickle. That's the other thing it can be. Hang on a second. Sickle. Can a sickle be thrown? No. The mechanics with Susur are silence mechanics. So whatever you forge as a masterwork Susur weapon, when you hit somebody with it, they will be silenced. So it's a great way to shut down spellcasters. Okay, doesn't seem like there's a dagger down here, so I'm gonna. There is guaranteed a dagger upstairs, unless I already took it. I'm just gonna run and try to grab that. So if you get the Susur Great Sword, you have a great sword that silences people when you hit them. There's the dagger. If you do a Susur Sickle, much the same. If you do a Susur Dagger, much the same. Now, a sickle is a really low damage, like, that's a cosmetic weapon. You, as far as I could tell, you would only run with a sickle if you really wanted to be a guy with a sickle. It does barely any damage. There's no inherent benefit to using a sickle, so, I think you use it because you like the way it looks, and that's what you want to do with your character, and that's fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with doing that. I've certainly done that. I'm going to do a dagger. Great Sword is outclassed by the Everburn Blade, which we didn't get in this run, but it's pretty easy to get, and it's way better than just the silence mechanic. The dagger is more compelling, I think, because it can be thrown. It has the thrown property. And when they're thrown, it uses their, whatever their damage stats are. And if you throw a Susur Dagger at an enemy, it will still silence them. That's what I was trying to get at. So this is 1d4 plus 5 as opposed to 1d6 plus 5. I'm going to assume, because both of these are thrown weapons, that the hand axe is actually going to do more damage, so I'm going to stick with it for now. My armor is all the way up to 21. That's fantastic. Oh, here, let's group up again. And from here, we're going to jump to Joaquin's Rest. Nope. I did not face the Githyanki. I tried, and I determined quickly that they were going to destroy me. Absolutely destroy me. What's this? Did I never get Barkus's pack? I think I did. I think that's nothing. Alright, so the alternate route, if you didn't get the Githyanki to leave, or you don't want to fight the Githyanki, is through the Goblin Camp. So we're going to do that. Both the Goblin Camp and the bridge route put you essentially in the same spot, so it's not a big deal. There's no real difference. And the very first thing you're going to do when you get into the mountain pass, which is where we're headed right now, sometimes it will force you to rest if you're going into the mountain pass. We'll see if that happens. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to fight a bunch of undead. It is a difficult fight. Let's see. I have about 10 minutes left. And then I need to get back over to church. What are we looking like on the day? Oh, Furin definitely doing more damage. That's that action surge coming into play. Even with that extended fight, action surge still, I think, was the thing that let me pull into the lead. And action surge is huge, so that is definitely a factor in the Eldritch Knight being perhaps the superior throwing build. I'm getting pretty green on the barbarian one. There's so much added damage in that. It might be the better build. It's just the 3 attacks per turn. That's the discrepancy that still needs to be resolved. All right, there's no point in saving.
Breathe deep and move.
I'm gonna try to get as close as I can. And there's a time issue here, so I want to cast this, and we're gonna get right into combat. All right, so that is the mechanic that I am gonna hope, just gonna hope, is going to win the day for me. Okay, can't hit him. The 2 Death Shepherds are the primary targets. You want to take the death. Actually, I can get to him. What am I thinking? I can't fall down. They can resurrect each other and the other undead, and they take less damage because they have this necrotic veil or whatever. So I want to get rid of them. That's my goal. Now, I didn't really pay attention, but I think the Susur Dagger did comparable damage, or maybe a little less so. Nothing particularly great there. That's enough for now. He still gets affected by difficult terrain. I do want to remember to get Karlach into the fight. Wherever she's going to land initiative-wise, it's going to be at the end. That's okay. So now, in theory, because it's all ice, and the computer is terrible at ice saves, in theory, they're never really going to make it to me. That's at least the goal. They're just going to keep falling over every time they try to advance. So that's the reason why Sleet Storm matters. Here and anywhere. Anytime you need to keep enemies away from you, Sleet Storm is probably the best way to do it. Now, Karlach, on the other hand, she's using the Boots of Stormy Clamor. She cannot walk on the ice. She needs to stay away from the ice. Well, let's start putting damage into this other Death Shepherd. Oh, did I not? Oh, I didn't use my Elemental Cleaver. That was silly. There. Now I've used it. Okay. Ooh, he saved. We don't like that. We don't want him saving against the ice. We want him on his back every round. Alright, so now each one gets 2 throws. He's down. So this one's going to want to resurrect that one. And when they resurrect each other, it's at full health. So it's kind of a problem. So we really, ideally, all of these ghouls and ghasts are just going to keep falling over and never make it to us, and we could continue to focus all of our efforts on the Death Shepherd, who's going to stay too far away to help his friend. Oh, he's taking another... He's trying to get to where he can cast that Resurrect spell on his friend. Okay. Which might be a problem. Yeah, it looks like Karlach cannot hit him from here. Oh, she can. She can. We're good. Yeah, we're going to keep putting all our damage. 11 damage is not a lot. But we're going to keep putting it all into him. I have the boot. If anybody gets close, we'll kick him back. Or at least try. So this shouldn't be bad. We'll see. It looks like he's probably going to have a chance to res his friend, though. Which might be a problem. I don't think I can take him at 19. Ooh, I can. Okay, so now, from here on in, as soon as you get the 2 Death Shepherds down, this fight is easy. It's just a bunch of undead. Super simple. And if you have a cleric in your party, even more super simple. Because you have, all the anti-undead tools. You want to take the Ghast out next because he can take away your action. He has a permanent Stinking Cloud. Stinking Cloud makes it so that if you're nauseous, it makes you nauseous, and when you're nauseous, you don't get to use an action. So we don't want that. So we want to try to get rid of the ghast before he really gets near us. Now, I'm not going to run up and try to boot anybody because she will slip and fall, which would be relatively disastrous for her. So we'll just do this. 17 damage twice would kill him. We did it. 20 damage the second time. Alright. Things are looking great. Like, at this point, you could even drop concentration on Sleet Storm if you wanted to. And that just kind of makes this whole fight take less time. Overall. So what do we got? We got 4 of them left. And they're continuing to struggle to get to us, so that's good. Oh, he saved. He saved once, but not twice. So down he goes. Now, I don't think that you actually get the they're on the ground crits because you're throwing and that's a ranged attack. Ranged attacks get disadvantage when people are prone, so that is one downside to this build. Like, if I was up next to the enemy, I would be dealing more damage overall, just because I would get the automatic crit when they fall down. He's prone, he's saved, but he didn't make it to me. So the power of Sleet Storm means that none of the undead made it to me at any point during this fight. I just stood over here, completely immune to whatever they were going to do. These guys can paralyze you if you fail a save. And they just could never get to me. So that's the power of Sleet Storm. It renders a fight like this completely trivial. There is nothing on these. I don't know why I tried to loot that guy. There's nothing on any of these corpses, so you can just ignore them. Sometimes there's a rotten egg in there. Sometimes there's an egg. An egg is camp supplies, so... Not that I need them at this point, but I grabbed them anyway. And then if you have Gale in your party, which I do, you'll find Elminster standing down here near the entrance to the Shadowlands. We're not going into the Shadowlands, but we'll just...
I want to have a word.
If you're not aware, then maybe you don't want to see this part yet, because you haven't seen it. So I'm just gonna... I'm not even gonna comment on it. But it's good. It's a good part of the storyline. We're happy for it. And you could just stick with the number 1 answers. If you number 1 your way through the whole thing, it's fine. You won't make anybody angry.
Time seems so infinite, and I along with it. As for Elminster, that remains ahead of us.
Just number 1 our way through the whole thing. Get rid of our excess food weight. Fill our bag. I don't think I use poisons. I don't know. Can't remember. And then we're going to go back to it. We have 5 minutes remaining. I'm going to use those 5 minutes to empty this ornate chest up here and talk to Lady Esther. Not as glorious as the Lady Esther, my wife, but Lady Esther, helpful nonetheless. She has some items that are of use. That's another random chest. Sometimes it has insanely wonderful things in it. Sometimes it has meh. I would say this was more meh than anything, but that's okay. This run is going very well. I'm not too worried about meh. Meh's fine.
Wish I had a bag of holding.
Yes? Who goes there?
Alright, so we would really like to succeed a very difficult die check that we are definitely not going to succeed. But here we go.
Ah, you know, look over there. On a wash, of course.
Mm-hmm.
A gift. You'll be well compensated.
All right.
It looks different to what I expected.
What's our highest bonus here?
Are you
Minus
sure
1,
that's a gift?
minus 1, plus 4. Okay, so we're going to try to convince her that this is a Githyanki egg instead of an owlbear egg, because that's where we get the most bonus. All the difficulty classes are 21. There's absolutely nothing we can add to this roll. So, our base roll has to be an 18 or higher. So that's very narrow range of success. And we're going to spend all the inspiration points that we have trying to make this work, and it's probably not going to work. So here we go. Right off the bat, we win. All right, wonderful. There you go. That's the reason why we wanted to keep the owlbear egg. She still operates as a vendor, and she has some nice things. I don't know if she has anything I want, but she does have nice things. So let's go over some of the nice things that she has. I will definitely take some health potions off of her hands. What potions she has are random. But let's see what's guaranteed here. Hoppy is amusing. If you are two-handed strength, this revitalizing strike is good. It's a self-heal. The graceful cloth increases your dexterity score by 2, so it can be a nice boost if you're playing a dexterity-based character and you haven't quite gotten to 20, or you will never get to 20. Oh, excuse me. I play dexterity-based ranged characters all the time, and because you really want to take sharpshooter is possibly the most important thing on a ranged character in D&D. That can mean, like if you're doing a hybrid build and you don't have access to more than 1 or 2 ASIs, that could mean the highest you'll ever get is 18 or 19. If you have the hag's hair, then and you use it on that character specifically, that can get you to 20. Or alternatively, if the highest you can get is 18 and you're not interested in doing the hag's hair, you can get the graceful cloth, and that will take you up to 20. And then it gives you an additional bonus. It gives you a +1 to dexterity saving throws, which is nice. It increases your jump distance by a bit, which is nice, but it also gives you advantage, which is what this cat's grace mechanic is. And it gives you advantage on dexterity checks, which is, it's hard to overstate how useful that is. It's crazy useful. Now, anything in yet? Okay, so for Karlak, right? Her dexterity is 12. So this would put her dexterity up to 14, which would give her 1 additional armor. Not bad. It would give her the cat's grace, which would mean that she would be the ideal candidate for lock picking. Now, the only reason I'm not going to do that, like that is, it's a flat benefit for her overall. Like, there is no reason why Blood Guzzler Garb is better than the Graceful Cloth. So, if you're just looking for a straight up upgrade at this point in the game, the Graceful Cloth is better than what you could have. It's also expensive. It's 3,255 gold, which I have the money for. But the reason I'm not going to do it is because I already know that later on in the game, which is not, it's not too far from here. It's really soon. There's going to be another barbarian armor that I'm going to prefer to have on Karlak. So that's the only reason why I'm not doing it now. If you want to lean into momentum, and you can have medium armor, the boots of elemental momentum, if you deal, obviously you have to deal acid, cold, fire, lightning, or thunder damage with a spell or a cantrip. It gives you momentum, which can be handy. So those are core to some builds. The gloves of baneful striking. debuffs the enemy on hit. That is core to a lot of builds. If you like casting Scorching Ray, you have some gloves that add a cast of Scorching Ray. If you a Scorching Ray, sorry. If you are an Ice Mage and you didn't want to help Glut, you can buy the Winter's Clutches here, and these are pretty essential for an Ice Mage build. And then if you go down a lot in terms of getting beat up so much that you're going to die, the Parapet of Wound Closure can completely change the game for you. It gives you... It automatically stabilizes you, so you don't have to do death saves. And then the other thing that it does, obviously, is it gives you max health from all heals. So, pretty powerful necklace. The Parapet of Wound Closure is absolutely 100% better than the Amulet of Misty Step. Better. Flat better. I think I'm going to buy it. Just to have it. I don't know if I'm going to use it or not. So, all of that to say, this NPC, not only does she give you a quest, which you can immediately complete, as I did, if you get a good roll, but she also has crazy good items for you to buy. And so, there we are. That's got to be it. I'm 3 minutes past, so I got to get rolling.